So I'll look into that. But thanks, Jr. Thanks for. I'm gonna look that up. But that's my list. Let me know yours, and let's move on to the official first topic of the day. Babe, what do we have?
What is in the tentative WGA deal? The proposed contract covers AI and pay, and I don't know what else. Whatever they wanted, I guess.
Yeah, the AI deal. The writer strike is over. The actors strike continues, but
hopefully they're getting closer.
Yeah, we got a deal. Before I get into the breakdown of what the deal partially includes, like, what do you guys think about this? Kevin, let's start with you. What do you think?
Well, I've only seen one writer's strike before this one, and this was when the time Scrubs was on. So this was back in the early
2010s or something like that?
2008.
Oh, okay.
That was a really long one.
Yeah,
okay.
So that one I remember when it happened because Scrubs had a very short seventh season. It was like 11 episodes.
Yeah.
And a lot of the shows were kind of like suffering because of that. So I'm like, okay, sweet, I'll have to see this again. And lo and behold, like I'm in my late 30s and I'm seeing it again. But I'm glad they were able to kind of get this situated a lot more quickly, and it seemed like they were asking for was realistic, and not that hard. So I'm glad they were able to do that, and hopefully they'll be able to settle the actors' strike soon too, because a lot of us are hoping to get our shows back. I'm looking forward to seeing the return of The Rookie on ABC, because that I love me some Nathan Fillion, man. That's what like that.
I'm still wanting to get into that. Every clip of that show that I see on TikTok or something, that cracks me up. That one where he was walking by the garage and the guy was messing with him singing that sexy cop song, and the daddy cop walk and his daddy cop butt. Oh, I was like, this show it's got to be funny as hell. I gotta watch this.
It's a comedy, it's a drama, it's a police procedural. It's got everything that you want. But the writer's strike, I'm glad that they managed to get that settled, and I'm happy that both the people that were striking as well as the studios were able to come to an agreement that would benefit both parties.
Yeah, but what do you think? What's now that the strike is over? What you're looking forward to?
I mean, it's fine for the moment that the actors haven't resolved yet, because the writers have to write something first,
right,
before the actors can do anything. But they still need to hurry up, because it won't really matter if they've written something, because they won't be allowed to act it.
Yeah,
they're like, if they can get this resolved fairly soon, they may be able to get the shows back on by January.
Right.
I'm okay with that. Honestly, if it means
they're trying to salvage at least half of a season.
Because normally what they would do, with any TV show, is they would start the beginning of the season, basically when school starts normally, and they would end it
fall season, yeah.
When they would end it, the season when the summer begins. So, I mean, it's fine if they can do half a season. That's fine. But or if they want to just do a new way of doing it, begin this season in January and end it in the fall. But we gotta be realistic.
At least, well, probably, yeah, that makes sense. Maybe for this year, maybe I think they've done that before. Maybe during the last strike, the shows had to start.
Everything ended way early.
Okay.
It started regular. It was in September, August, whatever. But instead of ending in May, things shut down March or just February or March. They were done.
Yeah, they just ended everything and just straight up, and I was just oh, come on, that's not a full season. Come on.
It's gonna hit us somewhere. Like you said, either seasons are gonna start getting cut, and then I hope they just don't make. I hope this doesn't make a new status quo or whatever the term is moving forward. Every season on network TV is only going to be five episodes.
Well, it's just now barely gotten back, because there was COVID.
Yeah.
Short.
That's what I was thinking about. COVID.
2 seasons in a row, things were instead of the norm. They previously, prior to COVID, seasons were 24 episodes.
Yeah.
COVID happened, and everything. Suddenly, you had a couple of seasons in a row where everything's maybe 18.
Yeah, we started adopting the British model of a season. It's pissing me off.
And then they just barely kind of finally got back up to 20.
Yeah.
We're still not back to the old school 24, but we're just now getting back up to about 20 episodes. So.
Hell, Thundercats had 99 episodes in one season. We can do this. I'm just saying. I mean, it's possible. But
our ridiculousness, which has 100 episodes. I'm what season? I don't even know what season this is. They just keep coming.
Umpteenth. But real quick, I wanted to run down what the writers negotiate, what they got. Usually in a negotiation, you want both sides. People always say they want both sides to be to come away a little happy, but what usually happens is both sides come away a little bit upset. As long as both sides are a little bit upset, that means that they gave in to what the other side wanted. So that means the negotiations went well if both sides are a little bit unhappy, but they can live with it and move on. So real quick, here's some of the things that the writers got. Let me go to this file real quick. There it is. Okay, so some of the things that the writers got are, okay, what am I doing here? I'm clicking on the wrong stuff. Starting with, I don't want to accidentally put up another Bone Thugs and Harmony thing. There we go. Okay, pay increases and audience data. And you guys can't see what I'm doing unless I do this. Minimum weekly pay for writers will increase more than 12% over the 3-year duration of a deal. Number 2, a feature-length project made for streaming with a significant budget will increase a 26% increase in the residuals. Series and films viewed by 20% or more of the service's domestic subscribers in the first 90 days receive a bonus. That was the one that stood out to me the most because, I mean, Kevin, let me get your opinion on this. 20% of your domestic subscribers in the first 90 days. So right now you're already on a time crunch. If we get certain amount of clicks and views for the certain show that you've written in 90 days, then you get this bonus. But after the night, if it doesn't hit that mark after the 90 days, tough titty. What do you think about that deal?
I think it's fair. Like, I mean, let's take the One Piece Netflix show that came out recently. I mean, that show did really well. Like, let's put it this way: if that deal counted for that One Piece show,
you think they would
writers would have gotten
probably got
paid. They would have been paid big time. But yeah, no, I think that's a fair deal. Like, honestly, whenever my YouTube channel does well and it gets a lot of views,
right?
I get paid.
Almost the same concept, yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. No, like aside from that, the more views you get, like the thing is with YouTube, it works the way like every view people get. There's like an ad going on with the views, so. You get a certain amount from that, from that view, and you tally all the videos together, and it shows more and more. So
right.
Yeah.
What do you think that it lends itself better to? What about the streaming services that don't have as many subscribers as others? Like, if you were a writer and you wrote a hit show for Netflix, which has the most subscribers overall, this deal that deal might activate easier than say I don't know what's a lower one, maybe an Apple TV Plus show, even though the quality might be the same. But if Apple TV Plus has half the subscribers, that means that's half the chances of people clicking on it.
What they're saying is, to them, that part's irrelevant, because if they're already not getting that many watches, that's not what they're concerned about. They were concerned about the fact that the big ones, the Netflixes, were getting all these views for years, and then they get a check in the mail for like a nickel.
Yeah.
I'm like, hold up, like, wait a minute.
But you see what I'm saying with the question though, like, would you, if as a writer, wouldn't you be trying to knock on the door and getting your script into Netflix, which has the most subscribers and the most chance of hitting that mark? Or but Joy, you said you don't think it matters.
Well, I mean, if it was never getting views anyways, and it doesn't really change much for them. They were concerned more about things that were getting lots of views, and they weren't getting paid for all those views.
What do you think, Kevin? What do you think about that question?
I can agree with that. Like, I think a lot of people are upset is that, Netflix and other streaming services are the ones that are truly benefiting from these views.
Yeah.
Overall, they're not sharing within the wealth of what they're getting.
Right. Well, they argue that they don't get that much from a view. They only get the money from new subscribers, and that's what they're basing. It's not like network TV. It's different. That's why this whole negotiation kind of started. They were like, well, we don't have to pay you the way we would normally pay you on network TV because this is streaming. and then the argument was because there's not that many advertisers as it would be on network TV, because we only get money when people subscribe. And
Right, but Netflix still paid somebody, ABC, Sony, whatever company, to be able to air that, and that company got a big. That company paid got a big check to be allowed for Netflix to use
to
it.
send to get the rights.
The actors are going. We didn't see any of that.
You're right, but that was the producer's point. But that's a whole different kind of a deal. Like this wasn't an advertiser when we put this on network TV, and an advertiser paid money for this to be to advertise during this show, and then we can give a piece of that to the writers and the actors and residuals. This is a streaming service who just bought the rights to play it on their streaming platforms, and there's no commercials in between in most cases. So technically, since it's not TV, we don't have to pay for that. And then you said the writers were pissed that we're not seeing,
because they weren't necessarily saying Netflix owes us money. They're saying, the big, the ABCs, the CBSs, the whatever the companies' names are.
Owe that money, and they were arguing that they didn't because
they got paid.
But the producers are arguing that they don't because, like Netflix would argue that, I mean, Netflix loses a lot of money for buying the rights to all those shows. It helps them, but it's a money loser for the most part. And I'm not, before you guys try to come at me, I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm not defending the producers or anything. I'm not doing that. I'm just reporting to what they say. But yeah, no, those are good points. But there's the argument back and forth. I'm glad they came up with a middle ground, but I could see what they were saying on both sides. But another thing that came up was the artificial intelligence argument. AI cannot write or rewrite literary material, the WGA summary says. Number 2, a writer can choose to use AI if a studio approves of its use, but a writer cannot be required to use AI. And then the agreement does not prohibit studios from training AI on writers' work. That confused me. The first one, AI cannot write or rewrite literary material. But the third one, the agreement does not prohibit studios from training AI to write it?
AI, artificial intelligence, it learns. So the more stuff you put into it, the better it writes or does whatever you've asked it to do. So they're just saying, we know we can't put that work out for the public to see, but we can at least
keep feeding the machine.
Right, so that if one day we do be allowed to use it, it's in good shape.
Right there.
And it's already set to go.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah. When we can bypass this new agreement, we're going to make sure the AI is strong. What do you think? That's the conspiracy theory. I think that's 100%.
The way at least I see it, for AI cannot write or rewrite the material, it's basically when the studios don't use the writers and just be like, we'll just have AI do it instead. Like, but with the other two, the writer can choose to use AI if the studio approves it. So as long as it's like autopilot. In a sense. With autopilot, you have to have a pilot still kind of overseeing the autopilot's controls.
Right.
And the agreement, and like last one, the agreement does
bring
not
the mic closer a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, just you can start.
Sorry. The agreement also does not prohibit studios from training AI on writers' work. So basically, from the way it sounds like, if the studios need writers, they cannot, like, if let's say they don't have a writer on staff or available, they just can't just do AI and hope for the best. No, they have to have a writer involved in the writing
process.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like whenever an editor in Photoshop, like myself, I sometimes use AI mostly just to get rid of certain blemishes, like a giant zit on the forehead or something.
Yeah.
Like obviously I can do clone tool, but AI has such intuition that it makes it look much more natural and whatnot. So I think they just still want it to be AI to be run and operated by the writer itself, so that way the writer can still have some control over what the content is in the writing process. I'm
curious, because everything that they agreed upon wasn't given in this article, but I'm curious I remember one of the things that they were going to argue for was awards. Like if AI is involved, then that show can't get an award for best writer or something like that. Because I mean, it's it's a tool, and unless but now I'm wondering, is it going to be changed now? Because if a writer is involved in the beginning, and then you use the AI to like clean things up or finish it, I'm wondering. Because I remember that being one of the arguments. What do you think about that? And as far as the award process, does a show or movie deserve a reward for writing if AI was involved, or to a certain percent?
I think if AI is going to be, if they're going to give awards, AI can. The way I see it, if AI gets rid of certain blemishes, like let's say grammar errors, or just cleans up certain parts of it, but still a lot of the let's say if AI, like the touch-ups AI does, is only about 5% of the work. The remaining, the majority, the 95%
was the writer. Yeah.
I think that's.
So you think it should be on a percentage scale, like
exactly. Like let's say if
anywhere near 50%, no reward.
Exactly, because otherwise it's just lazy writing. Right?
I didn't say that. Only Kevin said that. So when the machines take over, I didn't say that. That was Kevin.
Oh yeah, no. Like the thing is, like a writer's
Skynet.
Like a writer's not a writer if he doesn't do the work.
Mm-hmm.
That means putting your butt in the chair.
Yeah.
And just clickety-clacking on the computer.
Getting that typewriter out.
Or on the typewriter, or just writing, freehand. Either way, the writer actually is supposed to write.
Right.
If he wants to use AI to fix some, grammar errors, because let's face it, we're all going to have some
Grammarly,
errors.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Then that's fine, because at least then it'll get rid of certain things and make you sound a little bit more smarter than you probably are.
But if you did the whole book or the whole script, and then you go GPT, how should this story end? Like you did everything but the last 2 pages. What do you think? Write your ending for you.
I think the ending has to. I think everything has to come from the writer.
Yeah.
And
at least the beginning, middle, and end.
I think AI, basically like I do with my photos, should just be used to touch up certain blemishes here and there, but not do the overall work.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Of the writer.
No, that makes sense. Last but not least, last part of the agreement that from this article, I know this wasn't everything, but this was working conditions. Employees employment of at least 6 writers related employees on a series that runs 6 episodes or fewer. Employment of at least 9 writers related employees on a series that runs 13 episodes or more. Writers get at least 10 weeks of employment in development rooms, and I don't know all of these terms, so this is obviously something that was important to them, but I don't know what that really means. And early phase, in development rooms in early phase, and 20 weeks if part of post green light. I don't know all the lingo. If anybody else knows what most of that means, I don't know all the lingo, but I'm glad they got. If that's what they wanted, I'm glad they got it.
If they're talking about like a new like a pilot, like a
green,
they only will do so few episodes.
Yeah, I know a green light. Yeah, I mean,
so
but development room.
They're just saying that they get a certain amount of time when it's being developed, and just those first few episodes, and then if it gets picked up, greenlit for all the rest, they need to allow them extra weeks of time to get the rest of those episodes or whatever it is they're doing.
Okay. Well, like I said, I'm glad they got it. Any other thoughts on it? Yeah, I think we covered it.
It seems pretty normal. Employment of at least 6 writers writing on a 6-episode or fewer. I mean, that seems pretty fair.
Yeah.
And I think, as well as for employment of at least 9 writers on a 13 episodes or more. I mean, that's a lot of writing, especially if it's a hour-long show.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to have as many people in the writing room as possible. So that's going to guarantee a lot more work, and that's going to guarantee a lot more stable income. And as for writing, writers getting at least 10 weeks of employment in the development stage, I think that's a good amount of time. That's at least 2 months worth of time, but 20 weeks, that's a good amount of time right there. That's a good a third or a fourth of the year right there.
Yeah.
So that definitely gives the writer a lot more time and a lot more resources. Especially it would be great if they gave them benefits though, or at least some kind of way to do that. But better something than nothing.
Yeah, like benefits. Like what you mean? From my insurance side of it and stuff that they do, but in SAG and in I don't know. I think I heard about in SAG that you have to get a certain amount of work, make a certain amount of money within a month for it to kick in and something. But the strike definitely kicked them out of that because they were striking longer, especially the writers striking longer than that minimum time requirement for the benefits to kick in. A lot like you have like within a 3-month or I forgot what it was. You have to make a certain amount of money, and obviously they weren't making any money during the strike, so like nobody was getting their benefits. But I think in this, if I got to read more of other articles, but I believe they worked around it. I'm hoping at least, because that's an important thing you brought up, benefits. I hope that people who lost their benefits during the strike can get it back without that rule being enforced. No, well, you weren't working for the past 90 days, so we don't have to pay. I hope they don't do that to them. That would suck. Before we go into the next topic, what's in the chat about? Let's see.
Topaz.
Topaz. Was it
Topaz
Campbell?
says
Campbell.
FAI, basically.
Well, first one said the actors should make a contract that is universal. So if any company buys their content, they have to get residual pay. That's
a good one. Yeah.
Let's see.
He's got a lot of comments.
Also,
He is not a fan of AI.
so they should have two
all.
contracts: one to protect their rights to their content used by anyone, and one so they get paid for actually making the show from the company. I understand what you mean by that, but usually I use the example of when you own a house and you hire a crew to paint inside the walls. You paint one of the rooms, and if you 5 years later, if you have a dinner or some kind of a party and take pictures and stuff, I mean that painter can't go 5 years later and go, hey, that was my work you're putting up on your social media and in that room, that was my paint. Like, no, I paid you to paint that wall 5 years ago. I'm not going to give you residuals from my Facebook post because I put it up on my social, stuff like that. But that's kind of how I look at it. But I do agree with both sides' arguments to an extent. But that's what the producers are like. No, we paid you. That's pretty much what they're going to say. I think I already played that one. Yeah, you're right. Topaz Campbell is on it. I don't think AI should ever be used in creating shows because it makes humans obsolete. That's exactly what I was trying to tell Kevin. Like, why is he kissing up the Skynet?
I'm just saying. I'm not saying use it for the entire thing. I'm just saying, just like let's say if I write an entire screenplay and I want to use AI to just touch it up, like basically just get rid of some grammar errors. I'm fine with that because at least then. No studio is going to want to read something that's grammatically incorrect. They'd be like, "What's this guy, a retard or an idiot? What's going on with this guy?"
Yeah, I'm sure they Grammarly that.
At least using it to touch up, like as long as the story's there, then I think that's right. So, but I do agree. Some things should be protected for quality, talent, originality, and progressive for many reasons. I do agree with that. But I just think like with AI, it should just be used just to fix some blemishes. Like I use AI. For a lot of the headshot photos I use, so I just use it to just touch it up. Not like obviously I do a lot more of the touch-ups and stuff on my own, but if there's something that I think AI can do better, I'll let it do it because I want the person to like their photograph.
Yeah, I feel like AI should be looked down upon when used in writing or any kind of entertainment because it hurts people more than it helps. They will rely on it, just like we do on our. Like with calculators on our phones and stuff, kids can't do basic math and stuff.
Come on.
Remember back in the day when you used to go to the grocery store and used to read the back of the toothpaste? Like, which one is best for me? Now, what do? What is the best toothpaste? We rely too much on the Google, on the algorithm.
I always like to use those two, combination toothpastes, one to brush and one to whiten or whatever. I always that's one I always get. I haven't used it in a while though because I've been living with my folks, just trying to make sure I get my house ready.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Uh-oh.
But yeah, no. But yeah, aside from that, no. I just I think with AI, it just depends on how people use it. If they use it throughout the ride, be like, all right, write an episode where Ross and Rachel get back together for a couple of episodes.
Yeah, just for for fan fiction, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they just like let's say right now all right, come up with an episode where they're drug dealers for the Rookie, but Nolan's brother is a part of it and he has to save him. Do the writing. Yeah. If that's just lazy writing right there. I would just rather. I think they should come up with their own, story and everything. And if they just need to do some touch-ups in the grammar, then
then it's fair game.
It should be used for.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair game. Yeah, if you like it, I love it.
Thought about because you've been rewatching Suits.
Yeah.
Which of course.
But I heard that today that they can't go backwards. They won't be able to get that money from that.
No.
This is only moving forward.
you know.
Because that show has been blowing up again.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the guy that plays Mike
Okay.
made a post saying that he's loved all the
suits.
like the, you know, nostalgia, and that he missed working with everyone, and he had a bunch of photos from back when he was on the show, behind the scenes photos, and I think maybe it was an Instagram post or something. So he posted the photos saying, you know, I miss working with, and all the people that he worked with.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw it and was like, you know, that's sweet, and everybody was, you know, I didn't think anything about it personally. Well, I guess people reached out to him and all like, dude, you know, you're not allowed to post any of that because we're on strike.
Oh yeah. So they
So
scabbed him.
he quickly had to. He was like, "Ooh, you know, apologies. I didn't think about that kind of a post.
Yeah.
All right,
pulled
all
it
right,
down.
all right, all right. I apologize. I'm really, really sorry. I apologize
It was
unreservedly.
like,
Yeah.
whoops.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought about it either because it's not like
Because he technically promoted
it wasn't like he was on
a.
a red carpet or at
yeah.
a fan event.
He was
It
he was
just
thanking
a
the people.
Social media post, but the other
Yeah.
like, dude, you can't
Yeah.
put those pictures and
That's
talk
why
about the show.
I'm sure AI wouldn't have made that mistake.
Wow. All right, Skynet. Jeez. All right, listen, guys. Have a good one. Be safe out there, and I'll see you guys next week. Hey, guys, thanks for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button, like, and comment your thoughts on this topic or any topics that you think that we should talk about in upcoming videos. Also, you can follow us at T3 Medias on Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and we also have a T3 Media Studios podcast where we post our movie reviews and episodes of The Rundown. Till next time, guys.